Joined by Emma James. Hello, Emma.
Hi there.
Let's begin in the United States. A vote in the House of Representatives today means that impeachment proceedings against the US president will go to the next stage.
Yes, absolutely. The impeachment process will move on to the next stage. Public hearings could even be televised within a couple of weeks. And the US president not at all happy about it. This was one of his tweets today. The greatest witch hunt in American history. Very quickly out of the blocks, the response from cartoonist Rob Rogers. Perhaps it would be prudent to stop calling it a witch hunt, Mr. President, because, of course, it is Halloween. And in this drawing, he has everybody dressed up in suitably witchy clothing. And you've got Donald Trump there. You can recognise him from the pursed lips, asking why shouldn't he call it a witch hunt. But anyway, moving on from that, it is interesting to note that every single Republican voted against moving forward with this impeachment inquiry. The party and the Trump administration very much talking with one voice. And when you look at this tweet that comes from the White House account and the words are attributed to the press secretary, it could really have been written by the president himself. Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats' unhinged obsession with this illegitimate impeachment proceeding does not hurt President Trump. It hurts the American people. The use of all caps there, very much a trademark of the US president. And it is this idea that everyone is singing from the same hymn sheet, essentially, that has Greg Sargent worried. In his opinion piece in the Washington Post, he talks about the unquestioning loyalty being shown by cabinet officials. Officials, he says, are either actively validating the idea that there was nothing whatsoever wrong with Trump's pressure on a foreign leader to help him corrupt the election on his behalf, or, he says, they could be working to cover it up. Now, the impeachment inquiry, of course, centres around, in particular, that phone call between Donald Trump and the Ukrainian president. Donald Trump today urging everybody to read the transcript, again, in capital letters. But it's worth pointing out, of course, that transcript isn't really a transcript at all. It is an abridged version of the conversation that was had. In response to that, one of Donald Trump's most vocal of critics, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, tweeted this: "We did. That's why we opened an impeachment inquiry." Now, Adam Schiff, who is a Democratic congressman and also chair of the House Intelligence Committee, invoked the founding fathers when talking about this impeachment process, saying they understood that a leader might take hold of the Oval Office who would place his personal and political interests above the interests of the country. And that mechanism is, of course, impeachment. Ivanka Trump, though, daughter and, of course, advisor to the president, also invoked the founding fathers, in this case, Thomas Jefferson in particular, dusting off a quote from him: "Surrounded by enemies and spies, catching and perverting every word that falls from my lips or flows from my pen, and inventing where facts fail them." It's kind of, I suppose, what you would say in modern parlance, fake news. And she ends this tweet with the words, "Some things never change, Dad."
Okay. Any words of support from the First Lady, Melania Trump, perhaps?
It's business as usual on the First Lady's official Twitter account. It is, of course, Halloween, and they've been inviting trick-or-treaters, not tweeters, that's a Freudian slip, to the White House today, offering Halloween candy. But you might think perhaps she's not that bothered if you take notice of certain recent comments from her very own husband. President Trump told a group of Republican donors at a soiree that he didn't believe Melania would cry for him if he were shot. Now, no doubt this was intended as a joke, but it does seem like quite a peculiar thing to come out with. Lots of people responding with tweets like this: "Disagree, Melania would totally cry like this." And you've got Woody Harrelson wiping his eyes with dollar bills. "Tears of joy count," says this Twitter user. And this person saying he finally told the truth.
Extraordinary thing to say. Meanwhile, the US president telling his friends across the pond how to do things and how not to do things.
Yes, absolutely. You might think he'd have other things on his mind, given the impeachment progress that is being made. But the US president chose to have a chat with Nigel Farage, the former leader of the UK Independence Party. He told him on LBC Radio that he was disappointed that Brexit hadn't happened yet. And he said the opposition leader, Jeremy Corbyn, would be so bad for the UK. Corbyn, in his response accusing him of interference. Now, many not impressed with the interview, somebody tweeting here, Siri, play me a sycophant conducting an interview, but others pointing towards the fact that this is immense hypocrisy from Nigel Farage, who got extremely angry when Barack Obama had the temerity to talk about Brexit and say that he thought that the UK was better off within the EU. He said that just before the original referendum vote back in 2016. Nigel Farage said it was disgraceful, but now here he is talking to a US president trying to influence UK politics.
Some double standards at work there, I would say. Thank you very much indeed, Emma James, with today's edition of Media Watch. It's time now